Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYuGiOh. I went to my locals today and it was probably one of the least competitive locals I've seen in a while, which is why I did not do a deck profile. The only notable decks I've already have deck profiles of. But it was pretty bad, and one of the things I've been paying attention to lately is how people side deck. And people are getting better about actually using a side deck or understanding why it's important. But I see a lot of very, very bad side decking, and it's bothering me, so I'm going to hopefully try to get some people out and help them out with this. At least this is how I feel about side decking. And probably the most important aspect of side decking is whether you plan on going first or second. And you know, most decks this format want to go first. So you can plan accordingly with your side deck whether you want to be going first or second. Like, if you're going to be going second against Burning Abyss or really any deck, Burning Abyss is a good example because most players this format are siding 2 or 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. But say you win game 1 against Burning Abyss, you're in a very good position now. But you know that Burning Abyss player is going to be going first because they want to get set up. So why in the world does every player or a lot of players put in their 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors into their side deck if they just won game 1? Because what ends up happening here is you go second against them, they go first, they explode, do all their plays, they have a Seer Dante Lake thing set up, and you draw your opening hand. Say you have 2 of your Shadow Mirrors, and you're like, great, I have my side cards, set 2 of them. Next, in your end phase, before you even get to activate them, flip the lake and destroy it. And it's not just because Burning Abyss have really easy out to Shadow Mirror, it's because those 2 Shadow Mirrors in your hand going second, you can't use them. Because when you're on your opponent's turn, when they go and they do all their plays, it's 2 dead cards in your hand. You draw your 6th card and you play. Those are 2 trap cards, at least 2 trap cards in your hand that you can't play, which limits your options for what your plays are. And going against Burning Abyss, you cannot afford to do that. Very frequently against Burning Abyss, if I win game 1, which I do because Mermails have a decent matchup against Burning Abyss, actually, believe it or not, but I would take out all of my traps, because I'm not going to get to play a single trap. Like, if I'm going second against Burning Abyss and I can't get an OTK or set up a Leo or something insane, other than Abyss Sphere, I'm going to take out all of my traps because there's just nothing I can do with them. So, like, well, what do I put in instead? Put in something that you can play either on your opponent's first turn or on your next turn. Max C is one of my favorite cards against Burning Abyss, because the moment they start doing their spam setup, you discard a Max C, it gives you a ton of options for your next play, and you might be able to plus through, or maybe not plus through, but at least push through their Fire Lake setup. Like, if you start your turn with 8 or 9 cards in your hand, you have a pretty good shot of doing that. So Max C is a very good card if you know you're going to be going second, because it's good on your opponent's first turn. Or if you don't have that option, or you just really don't like Max C, Raigeki, Snatch Steal, or spells that you can use immediately on your first turn also have value. So those are the most prominent examples I can think of, at least most relevant to this meta and relevant to locals, because Burning Abyss did fairly well there. But post down below what you think of this and how you tend to side deck, because that would help me out as a player and it might communicate some ideas to other people watching this video. But just think about what cards are not necessarily what's good against the deck your opponent's playing, but what you're actually going to be able to use, because that's where you get the value out of your cards. So just let me know what you think of that, and peace out, YouTube.